I'm Jada Franson and this is my weekly roundup. I can honestly say I have never in my life watched the Golden Globes, but this year Ricky Gervais had the entire world watching.
I'm Ricky Gervais, thank you. You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking, I never did.
Ricky went full on savage, put the whole of the audience in his place. This bunch of millionaire celebrities who were all gathered together to pat each other on the back and say how fantastic they all are. Well, this is what he told them.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and...
Sadly, his advice fell on deaf ears, and here are some of the speeches given by these woke celebs.
Russell Crowe could not be here with us tonight because he is at home in Australia protecting his family from the devastating bushfires. He sent along this message in case he won. Make no mistake, the tragedy unfolding in Australia is climate change based.
That was Jennifer Aniston on behalf of Russell Crowe. Don't you think that celebrities pronounce arson like climate change? Kate Blanchett jumped on the climate change bandwagon. Why not?
When one country faces a climate disaster, we all face a climate disaster.
Then we had a pregnant Michelle Williams tell us how pleased she is that she killed her previous unborn child so that she could win this award.
I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose.
Someone called Patricia Arquette pleads with everybody to make sure they vote.
For our kids and their kids, we have to vote in 2020, and we have to beg and plead for everyone we know to vote in 2020. Thank you.
I have to say, I agree with her. Everybody make sure you vote. Trump 2020. Kate McKinnon reveals that she thought she was E.T. until she came across Ellen DeGeneres.
And if I hadn't seen her on TV, I would have thought, I could never be on TV. They don't let LGBTQ people on TV. And more than that, I would have gone on thinking that I was an alien and that I maybe didn't even have a right to be here. So thank you, Ellen, for giving me a shot.
But Olivia Colman's boozy speech was superb.
I've had the loveliest time doing this, and to all my fellow nominees, who are all just marvellous. I don't know what to say because I'd already got a little bit boozy because I thought this wasn't going to happen. So, thank you. Completely stumped.
So typical of the mainstream media, the headlines after this event were absolutely ridiculous. At one point, Ricky Gervais is being called a right-winger. Ricky Gervais is not right-wing. He's a liberal, but he's one of those dying breeds of real liberals, you know, before it was hijacked by the far left. He just doesn't live in that left-wing, woke, celebrity bubble.
Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent.
I'm quite certain that Ricky Gervais and I would not see eye to eye on many issues. But he believes in free speech, as do I. So fair play to him. Fair play to him for making the Golden Globes an absolute must-watch this year. And Afterlife was fantastic. President Donald Trump has taken out Qasem Soleimani, a man who has killed countless Iranians, who has trained and led a number of Iranian proxy militia groups like Hezbollah throughout the region, a man who is responsible for the deaths of British and US troops and had just murdered 1,500 Iranian protesters. After all of that and much more, including an attack on the US Embassy in Baghdad and further attacks planned, that was the final straw. Enough was enough. President Donald Trump blew him to smithereens. After which, Iranians celebrated his death and expressed their hatred for the oppressive Islamic regime of Iran. Meanwhile, the left went into mass hysteria and mourned him in the streets, even on the streets of Belfast. Here's what happened when I went to show my support for Trump.
In various protest movements in the Middle East, we have to say that interaction and imperialist wars and attacks actually doesn't stay as found in defence of people who are fighting for democracy and who are here to determine their own interests.
Your own camera, mate. Your own camera, you fucking idiot.
Excuse me, that's my property.
Stand the fuck.
It was a terrorist. Your property.
Hey, fuck her.
Hold on a minute. He attacked me.
Calm down, everyone, calm down. There's no need to... I'm an inspector now.
See all of these terrorist supporters that just attacked me as soon as I've got here. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Trump was right to take him out. Mass murderer. Look at these people. Look at them.
Here, fucking hands off him. Don't be touching them.
I don't know why you're getting so close to me, because if you touch me again, I will have you lifted. Yeah, play you at your own game.
Scum on 4th Street! Fascist scum on 4th Street! Fascist scum on 4th Street! Fascist scum on 4th Street! Terrorist scum on 4th Street! Fascist scum on 4th Street! Fascist scum on 4th Street! Back off, your fascist cunt! You wankers! Fuck off!
Alright, okay. Everyone,
What is wrong with you? Failing thugs! Look at the way you are getting on! Failing thugs! We're standing here having a peaceful protest! Doing what? Doing what? What's wrong with you? Doing what?
being peaceful.
You don't even know who you are! What is wrong with you people? You have a cheek to call us fascists! Look at the way you're getting on! Look at the way you're getting on! I hate you, fucking rap. Don't attack our army.
Look at these people. Savages. Savages.
Don't attack Iran. No need for another imperialist war. No need for more millions of innocent people to die.
What about the British soldiers that were killed at this man's hand?
What do you mean these pervert? You mean the hundreds of thousands of British soldiers that smell your puppy.
Smell my puppy. Yeah, beautiful. It's got the scent of millions of men that died. Millions of men that died. Yeah.
Sat there greatest guy by an imperialist party. Think of a fuck about them. That doesn't matter.
So now you want to degrade the puppy. Now you want to degrade the puppy. Degrading the puppy now.
Jeffrey Epstein, remember that?
Absolutely disgusting. Degrading the puppy, laughing at the sacrifice of the millions of men that fought, bled and died for these kids to stand here and live in a democracy. To stand here and live in this democracy and express themselves. But we're not allowed to express ourselves. Well, here's me expressing myself, Trump 2020, and believe you me, he's already made America great again, and he's going to keep it great, and by proxy he's making the rest of the world great. So thank you, Mr. President.
I would happily go to jail for fucking doing Nazis' head in, like.
A Nazi?
We're all the Nazis. We're all the.
Me, who's a Nazi?
We're all the.
I'm a Nazi.
Are you saying I'm a Nazi, big man? Hey, Mum. Hey, Mum. Are you saying I'm a Nazi? You actually stuck in my fucking face. It's the 4th time you've done this.
Comrade, come on.
I was saying.
Comrade, fuck me. Comrade, come on. Oh, mate. Yeah,
We're being called Nazis because we're standing up for us, right? For people from this country.
And I see another woman just come and attack me and said, am I proud of myself? I'm proud of Donald Trump, that's who I'm proud of. I'm proud of President Donald Trump. I'm proud that he took out that terrorist in Iran. I'm proud that Iran is now a safer place because of Donald Trump. And the world is a safer place because of Donald Trump. I tell you what I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed of these white liberals who live in a democracy. They live in a developed world. In Great Britain, they should be embracing that, but no. What do they want? They want socialism. They want oppressive regimes. They want to attack women on the street who have a different opinion to them. Our world needs leaders like Trump.
Harry and Meghan have shown utter contempt for the Queen, for this country, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Without even having the decency to let the Queen, his grandmother, know that they were about to announce their halfway departure from the royal family. They just released this statement out to the world.
After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we've chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. They went on to say, we intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. We now plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America.
How disrespectful can you get? The whole thing's a bloody joke anyway, right? What, do they think that they're going to get less publicity by pulling a stunt like this? They basically want to have their cake and eat it. They want to step away from formal royal duties, but they want to retain the Sussex royal brand and use it to make money. So they say they want to split their time now between the UK and the US. Well, who's paying for their travel? Who's paying for their security? Because as a British taxpayer, I know I don't speak alone here, we're done. We're not willing to throw any more money at you when you don't even have the decency to treat the royal family with the respect that we would expect of you. Meghan Markle spelt trouble the moment she came on the scene. It was no surprise when her childhood friend said that she was absolutely desperate to become a princess. And let's face it, ladies, most of us have imagined our absolute dream wedding, right? When we're all kids, don't we dream of having a princess wedding? Yeah. Well, that's exactly what has just happened. Meghan has had her dream wedding. She's become the princess she always wanted to be. Then once she was well in, she turns into a social justice warrior and now has isolated Prince Harry from his family. It's a terrible shame because I can honestly say that this country has a huge amount of respect for Harry and his service for our country, and we have a huge amount of love for him. We can all remember the images of that small child at his mother's funeral. We've all watched them grow up into men. But unfortunately for Harry, he's going to be tarred with the same brush now. People will have the same amount of contempt for him as they do for her. This was a calculated move from the beginning. She came in and disrupted the royal family, has caused his people to resent him greatly for the decision he's made, and now intends to sail off into the sunset with everyone's support. But they don't have mine. And I know I speak for many people in the UK and throughout the world who are so utterly disappointed at their actions. I hate the thought of Harry being isolated from his family. That's exactly what Meghan has just orchestrated. But unfortunately, he has allowed her to do so. They should be stripped of their titles. No more taxpayers' money. And then they can go and live this independent life that they both want to live, but without using the royal brand. The same royals that they showed utter contempt for. God save the Queen.